If you park 10 brand new Harleys in a row at your local bike night, something strange starts to happen. At first glance, they all look different. One has a fairing, one doesn't. One has bags, one is covered in expensive parts. One cost as much as a small house. Then you squint. Wait a second. They're all black. They all have T-bars. They all have the same exhaust. They all have the same saddle, the same wheels, the same LED headlight, the same tinted windshield, the same bar and shield sticker somewhere on the swing arm. And somehow, every owner insists theirs is completely unique. It's like watching 10 people show up to a costume party dressed as Batman while arguing that their cape is a different shade of black. Now, before the comment section catches fire, this isn't a video about hating Harley-Davidsons. Far from it. Harley has produced some of the most iconic motorcycles ever built. The Knucklehead, the Panhead, the Shovelhead, the Evolution, the Twin Cam. These machines helped create entire styles of motorcycles that every manufacturer still copies today. But somewhere along the way, something changed. Instead of thousands of completely different custom Harleys rolling around America, more and more bikes began looking suspiciously identical. So what happened? Why does it feel like every Harley at bike night came from the same Pinterest board? The answer isn't one thing. It's history, money, social media, and a motorcycle called the Dyna. To understand why modern Harleys all seem to blend together, we have to go back to a time when building a custom motorcycle actually meant building one. Back in the 1950s and 60s, there wasn't a catalog filled with bolt-on parts waiting for your credit card. If you wanted taller handlebars, you welded them. If you wanted a different gas tank, you found one in a junkyard and somehow made it fit. Need a new fender? Better learn how to cut metal. Back then, every modification required actual problem solving. You weren't shopping for a personality, you were inventing one. That's exactly why old custom Harleys looked so wildly different from one another. One builder stretched the front end so far it looked like the bike was trying to handshake with tomorrow. Another chopped everything off until there was barely enough motorcycle left to sit on. Some painted flames. Some polished every piece of chrome they owned. Some didn't paint the bike at all, because, frankly, paint costs money. The point wasn't perfection, the point was making something nobody else had. Ironically, the lack of available parts forced people to become more creative. Today, the opposite is true. Now there are thousands of aftermarket companies selling every part imaginable. Need handlebars? You have 500 choices. Seats? Another 500. Foot controls, mirrors, air cleaners, wheels? You could spend 3 days scrolling online and still not reach the end. You'd think having unlimited options would create unlimited creativity. Instead, it's somehow produced the exact opposite. Because when everyone shops from the same catalogs, everyone ends up buying the same best-looking parts. It's almost evolution in real time. One popular builder installs a certain set of T-bars. People love it. Instagram fills with copies. YouTubers make videos about it. More people copy it. Manufacturers notice. Dealers start stocking it. Suddenly, half the country has accidentally built the same motorcycle, and nobody planned it. Then came social media. Now, social media isn't ruining motorcycles, it's just doing what it always does, rewarding trends. 20 years ago, your audience was your local town. Today, your audience is the entire internet. That changes everything. If one bike gets 2 million views because it has bronze wheels, a tall fairing, and 12-inch handlebars, guess what everyone starts buying next week? Bronze wheels, tall fairing, 12-inch handlebars. It's fashion, except instead of sneakers, it's motorcycles that weigh nearly 900 pounds. Social media doesn't reward originality nearly as much as people think. It rewards familiarity with just enough difference to feel fresh. That's why trends spread so quickly. The same happened with club style. Originally, club-style Harleys were built for function. Tall handlebars improved comfort, fairings reduced wind, suspension upgrades improved handling. Performance modifications made sense because these bikes were actually ridden hard. Then the internet got involved. Now people install the same parts regardless of whether they need them. It's a little like buying hiking boots because someone else climbed Mount Everest. The boots aren't the problem, you've just never left the shopping mall. Of course, no conversation about identical Harleys is complete without mentioning the motorcycle that accidentally became the blueprint for an entire generation, the Harley Dyna. Somewhere in the early 2000s, Dynas developed a reputation that bordered on mythology. They were lighter than touring bikes, more aggressive than Softails, easy to customize, easy to stunt, easy to make fast. Then motorcycle clubs, performance riders, custom builders, YouTubers, and Instagram all started orbiting around the same platform. Before long, everyone wanted one. Not just a Dyna, the same Dyna.
Same bars, same fairings, same suspensions, same pipes, same saddles, same paint. If someone parked 10 of them in a line and removed the license plates, even the owners might need a minute. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that, because despite all the jokes, there is a reason these bikes became so popular. They work really well. The problem only starts when people confuse popular with personal, because a custom motorcycle was never supposed to be about building the motorcycle everyone else likes. It was supposed to be about building the motorcycle that makes absolutely no sense except to you. And Harley isn't the only company where this happens. Walk into any motorcycle meet and you'll notice something funny. Adventure bikes all seem to wear the same aluminum luggage that looks ready for an expedition across Mongolia, even if their toughest journey is the Starbucks drive-thru. Sport bikes somehow all end up stretched, lowered, wrapped in glossy vinyl, and fitted with exhausts loud enough to wake people in neighboring zip codes. Cafe racers? Half of them have brown leather seats, bar-end mirrors, and tires that have seen more Instagram photos than actual gravel. Motorcycles have always followed trends. The difference is how quickly trends spread today. Back in the 70s, it might take years before one custom style traveled across the country. Today, someone uploads a photo in California, a builder in Germany copies it tomorrow, a shop in Australia sells a kit next week, and someone in Japan has already made a YouTube tutorial explaining how to install it. The internet turned custom culture into speedrunning. Another reason Harleys have started looking more alike is surprisingly simple. They're expensive, really expensive. Buying a new Harley is one thing, customizing it is another financial adventure. A quality suspension setup can cost more than someone's first motorcycle. Premium wheels? Thousands. Performance engine work? Enough to make your wallet file for emotional support. When people invest that much money, they naturally become cautious. Instead of experimenting with something unusual, most riders think, "I'll buy the setup that everyone already says is good." It's the safest bet. Nobody wants to spend thousands of dollars creating a motorcycle that only 3 people on Earth appreciate, especially when 2 of those people are the builder and his mother. So proven combinations become even more popular. One successful build inspires hundreds more. Eventually, the custom scene develops unofficial recipes. Want a performance Dyna? Here's the shopping list. Want a club-style road glide? Here's another shopping list. Want a performance Softail? Don't worry, the internet already has 12 videos telling you exactly what to order. At some point, building became assembling. Again, that's not necessarily bad. Motorcycles today perform better than ever. Modern suspension transforms the ride. Better brakes save lives. Fuel injection makes starting effortless. Reliable aftermarket parts mean riders spend more time riding and less time wondering why something just fell off on the highway. But convenience always comes with a trade-off. When every problem already has a perfect solution, there's less room for weird ideas. And weird ideas are often where the coolest motorcycles come from.
Think about some of the most legendary customs ever built. Most of them sounded completely ridiculous at first. Let's stretch the front forks by another foot. Let's remove the front brake. Let's paint the whole thing metal flake purple. Let's bolt a coffin-shaped gas tank onto it. Any reasonable person would have said, that's a terrible idea. Fortunately, motorcycle builders have never had a particularly healthy relationship with reasonable ideas. Some of history's greatest custom motorcycles exist because someone ignored common sense. Today, algorithms don't reward that kind of risk. If a bike already fits the popular formula, it gets likes. If it breaks the formula too much, people scroll past. That's one of the strangest side effects of social media. It gives us access to more creativity than any generation before us, while quietly encouraging everyone to imitate the same few successful styles. Even dealerships have noticed. Walk into many Harley dealerships today, and you'll often see bikes already dressed in the same style customers want. Performance baggers, club-style Softails, blacked out everything. It's easier to sell people the dream when the dream is already sitting on the showroom floor. Manufacturers aren't forcing anyone to copy trends, they're simply responding to demand. And demand says, give me the one I saw online. There's another reason people don't always mention: time. The builders who created those unforgettable customs decades ago often spent years working on one motorcycle. Weekends, late nights, fabricating parts from scratch, making mistakes, starting over. Today's riders often have careers, families, responsibilities, and limited garage time. Not everyone has 6 months to learn welding just to build one sissy bar. Buying a high-quality bolt-on part isn't laziness. Sometimes it's the only realistic option. And honestly, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Motorcycles are meant to be ridden, not trapped forever in the middle of a garage project because you decided to teach yourself metal fabrication from scratch. But maybe that's the real answer to our original question. Why do every Harley seem to look the same now? Because we're living in the most connected motorcycle community in history. The same photos inspire everyone. The same videos influence everyone. The same builders become famous. The same parts become trends. The same algorithms keep showing us the same motorcycles until they start feeling like the only correct way to build one. It's not because riders suddenly became less creative. It's because inspiration became global. The irony is almost perfect. The motorcycle that symbolizes individuality now often follows the same trends as everyone else. Yet every once in a while, you still see one. A Harley that makes you stop walking. Maybe it's ugly. Maybe it's brilliant. Maybe the paint shouldn't work. Maybe the handlebars are completely ridiculous. Maybe somebody welded together parts from 5 different decades and somehow created something unforgettable. That's the bike people remember. Not because it was perfect, because it had personality. And maybe that's the lesson. Custom motorcycles were never supposed to win popularity contests. They were supposed to tell a story about the person who built them. Sometimes that story is polished. Sometimes it's chaotic. Sometimes it's held together by questionable welds and blind confidence. But at least it's different. So if your Harley has T-bars, great. If it's black, awesome. If it has the same exhaust as half the bikes at your local meet, ride it proudly. There's nothing wrong with building a motorcycle that works. Just don't let the internet convince you there's only one way to build it. Because the best custom Harley has never been the one with the most expensive parts, or the most likes, or the trendiest setup. It's the one that makes someone walk past 10 nearly identical motorcycles, stop, turn around, and say, "Now that's something I've never seen before." And in a world where every Harley is starting to look the same, that might just be the most rebellious thing you can build.